their loved one going under the knife and didn't come out of surgery because she bled to death or something. And it's like, I find that interesting. In surgery today, they have a way to stop the bleeding. So, you know, there's other reasons, but a lot of people do not come out of surgery. There's no question. Their statistics are hidden well. So, back to the lymphatic formulas. All right, there's so many lymphatic herbs on this out there on nature. I just go nuts with them. And then, of course, graviola is one that just came in. It's been used for centuries, but now it's gaining a lot of popularity. I've used that a lot. Lymphatic herbs are just that. To me, they aggressively move the lymph system. Some of them are touted as tumor busters and converts cancer cells back to healthy cells, and I have seen that in the sense that my Heal All Tea does that in terms of atypical. I've never seen enough research with my clients to see if the cells were converted back or not. I don't know where that PNR is, the point of no return of a cell is, because we see 95% regeneration. In terms of advanced cancer cases, very few people here don't make it. There are some that are just so involved lymphatically with tumors all of them, no matter how hard we try, we just can't get them fast enough. There are those cases, and I don't know what to say about it. I mean, no one else stands a chance with them. So it's difficult for some, there's no question. And my heart goes out to those. We're just a society that's so ignorant. And we're drinking milk. I mean, I have people with cancer still drinking milk, you know, that come in here and say, are you still drinking dairy products? With a tumor? I mean, this is the sort of problem that we face here. And so people just are unaware, and because of that, they suffer. And that's why this YouTube, we're going to bring awareness, like it or not, to this planet. You know, it's important. And so anyway, Lymphatic 1 is my old original lymphatic formula I've had for just, I don't know how many years, 30, 35 years. That's my old standard formula. I used to call it number 4. Years ago, you couldn't put what part of the body the formula was for. You couldn't put your information about the formula next to the formula. You had to have it so many feet away. Now this is the FDA here, and this is the government who thinks they can just tell people when, where, and how, and why. And so, I mean, strict issues where you could, and it's like, where did this come from? Where did this kind of narcissistic, we know everything and you guys are stupid kind of idea come from? But that's the way it was. And so people didn't know. Look at the Christopher's formulas were always named LB and, you know, lower bowel and all these things like this. And you had to know what it was to look it up. So it's just unreal. So lymphatic number 2, I expanded that. I think that's a good formula. I just kept going with that. I read about these 3 herbs and bitter melon that these pharmaceutical company was trying to get a chemotherapy out of these since they were touted to be anti-cancer herbs, and so I'd read about that in some newsletters, and I thought, well, you know what, let's just give it a try. So I just created lymphatic 3, and I just gave equal parts to bitter melon, graviola, matamba, and I forget the other one. And I just thought, well, I'll just try it as an experimental one. Well, people start saying, oh, my lymph nodes are swelling. I'm going, ooh, good formula. Because I knew it was drawing. So that's a good formula. Lymphatic 3, you want to use probably the 2nd or 3rd down the road. I started thinking a lot more about astringents. And astringents, of course, nettles is astringent. And astringents pull and clean. They're like lemons. Lemons are astringent. Grapes are somewhat. So you use astringents when you're trying to clean something. Well, guess what we're trying to clean? A lymphatic system miles long, so astringents, that's what we like. And so white oak bark's a little bit of an astringent. These astringents are also used to tighten things and tone things. So you see that there's a fair amount of astringents in the prolapsed organ formula. So lymphatic 4, I said, well, I'm just going to put some of the best herbs in there for the lymph, and then I'm going to throw some astringents in there to see what happens. Well, then people started to say, wow, man, I really feel clean. I really feel a difference in that. So I thought, you know, I've been using that from the second 2 weeks for that next month. So that'd be week 3 and 4, 5 and 6. I'm using lymphatic 4. I come over here and use lymphatic 1 capsules because I'm going to start drawing and pulling in the bowel. The liquids absorb so much better, especially with the alcohol. It absorbs so much better into your body. And that's the goal. Get it in through these colons or these small bowels that are interstitially lymphatically constipated, where there's malabsorption. I mean, that's the trick, is to get these things opened up so you have a remedy. You know, you're learning that there's a process to get remedy. However, what takes you down what road, you got to go. And this is for your Kellys out there. You might go through some Humpty Dumptys. Well, grab the bull by the horn, sweetheart, or you're always going to be sitting in the back row complaining about your problems. Grab a hold of that and run. Because each year you live, you're introduced to higher, better things. You have to understand it's the way nature works. You know, no one threw you in hell and took away the key. You know, and so you just have to keep taking each moment for what it is and grabbing it. So yeah, there's some ups and downs, no question. Okay, work yourself through it. So then the lymph node too is basically black salve, you know, bloodroot and things in a liquid form. So I love lymph node 2. Lymph node 1, another powerful one. Someone said, well, I've been using lymph node 1 and lymphatic 1 liquids, and boy, do I really feel a difference. So we've been playing with that. So it's kind of like this, you know, we're playing with these things, and there's no specific lymphatic ones I really recommend, except I do start out with lymphatic 4 liquid. Then I move to lymphatic 3 liquid. I actually go down that way. There's no number. It's just the sequence I made them in. Lymph node 2 capsules, however, I highly recommend you avoid that one unless you have a cancer or tumors, and then I would use that one at maybe 1 capsule a day or 2 capsules a day. Because we started using that just like a regular 2-3 times a day, and people started actually projectile vomiting. And we didn't realize that in capsule form they were 10 times, if not 100 times stronger. I always assumed tinctures were stronger because the amount of compression and distillation that's put into that. But this lymph node 2 is a butt kicker capsule. So be aware of that one. I love lymphatic 1 capsules. The raw herbs are so much better for the GI tract and the liver and pancreas. You're going to have a better response, but much more powerful. So you have to be careful with that. But the liquids and the tinctures, so play with them all you want. They're great, these lymphatic herbs, and there are just so many great ones out there. I just play with them all the while. This is, I told you about this lady. She's not a neurosurgeon. There is a neurosurgeon. This is an ER doc, emergency medicine trained. Her name is Sherry Tenpenny. She's got a video out on vaccinations and about the CD centers and stuff. See if I hold this still. Too much stress. Real good information. She showed how the CDC centers have been deceiving and lying. Of course, they're still getting away with it, you know. No one's holding them accountable. Nobody's holding the government accountable for corruption. And that's going to create a big problem on the government because the people are done taking it. So now, is it possible to change the eye? I'm going to try to get this eye color in here and show you this morning, if I get Chris in here, the difference between the blue and the brown. In German iridology, they don't believe you can change the colors of the eyes, and I thought that's one of the big failings of Germany. Maybe that's why they signed up on Kodak. You know, I mean, come on, Germany, get your butt in gear. You can really change the iris. If you can't, you're not a good healer. I argued with a lady in California who was a German iridologist, and she argued, you can't change the color of the eye. Oh, really? Well, I've never failed to do that, and Jensen never failed to do that, and no one could outdo Dr. Jensen in iridology. Sorry. I mean, the younger people, yeah, I believe that there's going to be a lot smarter, more expansive, but in his heyday, this guy was a whiz kid. He was doing computer iridology way before it was even thought of. He showed me some things he'd been working on years and years ago, and it was like, you were thinking of that far back? I mean, that was pretty advanced in his thinking, yes, but here's a man that worked till he died. And of course, I remember the last seminar, he just couldn't remember some things, of course, but 93 years old, still teaching, you had to give the guy a break, you know. Incredible, incredible. This is about asthma inhalers, the different asthma inhalers. This lady has been able to get off of the purple one, but the blue one, you hit it right on the head when you said you need to order the antispasmodic. You use that instead of an inhaler if you want to get off of the inhalers. I would use it under the tongue, a quarter of a dropper full. You could also take it on a regular basis, like a dropper full or a half a dropper full every 3 or 4 hours if you were really seriously involved here. But you could also take it just with your other herbs, and it'll really help. The nice thing about herbal antispasmodics is they don't block expectoration like inhalers do. And inhalers, I mean, the Tampa Tribune, like I said, did a study on inhalers and found them to be very cancer-causing. So you think in terms of bronchial dilation, but you have to do it in a way that doesn't inhibit or block expectoration, because there's always two things involved in pneumonias, and, well, I'll say not in pneumonias, but from asthma on up into all the COPD ranges, emphysema and COPD, the high chronic obstructive one, is neurological. It's the autonomic nervous system. It is the adrenal gland. Remember, the autonomic nervous system sits at the seat of the solar plexus, tied right into the stomach area. You're having problems with the stomach, you're going to have weird sensations all through you. Talked to a guy in here yesterday with MS, same thing. So when you have stomach problems, you're going to see neurological reflexes. You can feel like you're having a heart attack. You can feel weird. You can get dizzy. All kinds of problems come out of this solar plexus. Nausea. All kinds of things come out of this autonomic ganglia here. It controls everywhere in the body. So the real important area to clean up, of course, but always found in lung conditions of the COPD variety, asthma on. So you want to clean that up. So you got to clean up your gut, get your adrenals back up, get your kidneys, move your lymph. Lungs too would be good for you. It will start expectorating and stuff. That is good for you. Inhale and drink 3-lung tea. Another tea we made for expectoration and to drain sinuses, to drain bronchioles and lungs. Because you have the two things. You've got to deal with the nervous system weakness, and you've got to deal with the congestion. So you can play with that as much as you want, and appreciate that question. Good question. I had a pretty bad eczema growing up. I used those cortisone creams. You know what? I wonder if I was a dermatologist. No offense to you dermatologists, but you guys are embarrassing sometimes to the health field. Some of the ridiculous stuff I hear, what you're telling people, is just not even professional. I mean, most of you are not understanding these are internal problems. And this is the lymph system. The skin is the body's third kidney. And you've got to address these lymph systems, and you can clear everything up. I'm going to get to psoriasis here. Same thing. This is an internal toxicity problem. What kind of toxicity could be internal, except for the ingestion of chemicals, of course, and heavy metals and stuff from the external world? Most pollution is internal pollution, is sewage. Cellular sewage. What else is in the body but cells and two major fluids?